Hey, I'm Julia with Soul Space Studio. Welcome back to the cabin. This is day I don't even know, quarantine. and a few weeks ago when we started quarantine, I began a little video series of creating gratitude journals, what I call junk journals, mostly because it's made out of repurposed or recycled material. And I have not yet just wrapped it up and shown you my journal and talked to you a little bit about the intuitive process that I do and some of the things that take place while doing it. I just hope that if you've seen it or that if you stumble across this, that you recognize that it is by no mistake that you are encouraged to boost your gratitude. And before I talk about my little journal and a bit about my process in creating it, I do want to just kind of recap gratitude. It is an expansive thing. So, like love, it can grow and grow and grow. And like you don't ever max out on the expansiveness of gratitude in your life. There is a difference between thank you, gratitude, and appreciation. They all can go inside of your journal, and I just encourage you to kind of just do your own exploration on thank you and gratitude and appreciation. I talked about David Hawkins' map of consciousness. It's different traits, different emotions and their vibrations, and the desire is on this map of consciousness to be at 500 or above, which is love or above, so the vibrational frequency of 500. And nowhere on that is gratitude. And so when I originally started having a gratitude journal course play shop in the studio, I did a lot of research as to why is gratitude not on there. In fact, I was surprised that it wasn't on there. And what I've come up with through my research and through reading is that nothing will catapult you or take you to that resonancy of love or above faster than a practice of gratitude. So that's something I did want to touch on. The other thing I really want to mention too is gratitude shifts us into a state of reception, of receiving. You know, when you say thank you for something, it's because you've received something. Even if it's something as simple as somebody holding the door for you and you're walking into the store or whatever, you've received something. But the other side of reception is then you have to accept it, right? So, in other words, if we'll just go back to it's just somebody holding the door at the grocery store or at the store and you walk in, you have to walk in. It's thank you for holding the door, but if you just stood there, even though you're receiving it, you haven't actually accepted the gift. And so just kind of play around with that and when you're thinking about it or when you're exploring gratitude. But gratitude, one, will take you to love or above faster, I believe, than any other trait that you could begin to introduce in your life. And in fact, I put gratitude right up there in the importance of prayer, meditation, and contemplation. Gratitude is right up there with that. So like they're like a powerhouse of 4, if you will. And then the other is that it shifts us from a state, gratitude, a practice of gratitude, shifts us from a state of want and desire and puts us into a state of receiving and acceptance. So I'd be happy to have that conversation deeper with anybody who might want to have that conversation. But that is kind of the whole little nutshell of why I believe gratitude journals are so important. Especially if you do them at the end of the day or the beginning of the day or throughout the day, however you want to do it, 5 or more definitely will shift your life. I'm a believer. I had a coach tell me that years and years ago, and sure enough, 5 or more daily does shift our attitude towards life. It increases our vibration, our frequency. It elevates our vibration into higher states of consciousness. So awareness. It opens up a lot of awareness. All right, so this is my little gratitude journal. And I actually want to start with the back because the back, came out There's nothing at this point that I see that I want to add to the back. I might do some writing along this little tear line right there. I probably will add some journaling gratitudes throughout the year as I'm working with this. But for now, this is good. I always like these big clips because they can hold things. Like I received a couple of cards. This one was from a friend, and that's a picture of the bog in the winter times. Isn't that lovely? She shared that with me. And then another friend sent me a little Easter card, and I just wanted to keep that in there. So this is the inside of my back cover. So again, you can see these are just simple little things. I think I found a bunch of these kinds of die cuts at the dollar store, really, is where I think I got that. And this, and that are from that little packet. The papers were papers I had, and then of course just cardboard from a box that I had laying around. And then if you notice, one of the videos I showed how you can take the cap of a water bottle or a milk jug or something and dip it in paint and then kind of stamp it around. And then I also talked about the exposure, and then I came in and then I covered part of the ribbing of the inside of the cardboard with that. And so, I talk a little bit about that in one of the previous videos. But just to touch on the exposure, there's a bit of vulnerability when you expand your practices, when you go deeper into things like gratitude and love, and you're exploring. And I hope that all of us are taking advantage of a lot of this downtime, this pause time, this reset time, to really do some deep exploration from within ourselves. If we begin to look from within, which gratitude helps us to do, that's where you're going to find the answers. More so than looking without. We have looked without for so long that really it's from within that we're going to start to have these deeper, more enriched aha moments, and gratitude definitely will help you with that. So let's talk about the friend. If you watched any of the other videos, I spoke about how I wanted to add a bird, and that was because I found this in a book, this little prayer pouch, this anyways, this word, this verbiage, this part of the book. And I was going to kind of mark out through part of it, but as I got ready to do that, every time I went to do that, it was like it wasn't ready to do. There was parts of it that I didn't want to black out. I didn't want to just circle. It just needed to just be. And that's part of the intuitive process. Like, I personally don't like this like this. Like, I want it to be messier and marked up more, but every time I went to do it, it was just, there was a part of me that just said, no, it's not time. So this is part of the intuitive process that says it's going to keep working with you and speaking with you and asking you to add to it or take away or mark it up, make it a little messier. And that's part of the process. And I just honor that, whether I like it or not. It's just not even a matter of liking or disliking. It's a matter of just engagement with my creative process and allow it to continue to speak to me, with me, and through me over time. And a gratitude journal is perfect for that, or any kind of journal that you might be making, because it's something that I engage with on a daily. I just engage with it. Adding my gratitudes, and I'll look at it, and one day it will say, add something to me. The front is really that way. Now, I mentioned that I was going to add her. Just a quick little sketch and paint that I had done, but I really wanted a bird on her shoulder. Like, the bird was really important to me, and I have so many birds that I've colored and I've cut out and I went to stick on, and again, it was like it's not ready for that. And so her looking down at the word love, and I just spoke to you about how gratitude sends us to that vibration of love or above faster than anything. Also, I wanted to add some flowers up here, and it just didn't want to be. So I left it like this at this point because, and I held off sharing because I kept thinking more was going to be wanting to be added, but it's just important to honor your process, to keep it really simple. Or not, you can keep it as elaborate as you want. But for me, in my process, it's really important for me to keep it simple and allow it to say, okay, now I'm ready for to have a bird put on her shoulder, or roses can come here. And as I've engaged with this and added my gratitudes over the last week or two, I find that there's a reason, like it's speaking to me, there's a reason why those elements aren't here yet. And they're very personal to me, but they have a lot to do with where we are in community, where we are in this pandemic, being quarantined, where I am with my business and where I'm going with everything, and developing my own mystery school. It has a lot to do with that. And I love that every aspect of my life that I engage with, such as a gratitude journal, is speaking with every aspect of my life. And so that's a beautiful thing for me. That's been hugely healing for me over time. And yeah, it's part of what I bring into my way showing, the healing work that I do with others. So there she is. There it is. I do want to mention just quickly, briefly, that I keep, make sure there's nothing here I don't want anybody to see, but I keep my writings really simple. So like I don't write out paragraphs, or even I don't even write out sentences. I do enough to trigger the memory. So delightful, lazy morning. Like for me, that triggered that memory of that morning, which has been a lot of mornings lately. Sunshine, cleaned out the fridge mostly. I was really grateful I had done that. The frog singing. Yeah, Zoom with my friends. The Libra full moon. This happened to be on the Libra full moon. So just enough to trigger the memory, just enough to inspire dialogue with myself, right? With my inner child and wise woman. Yeah. So thanks for letting me just kind of ramble on, and thanks for joining me for this journey. If you would like to have a one-on-one session with me, I'm available for that. I've been doing a lot of work obviously from the house. The website is I'm eventually getting more items on there for sale in the shop. But I do offer the coaching, intuitive readings, and the play shops, as well as there's still a little window open for the Priestess Path immersion. So if any of that sounds interesting to you, I encourage you to reach out to me, leave me a message. Let's set a time to visit. My fees right now are what my fees have always been, and that is pay what you can based on integrity and trust. I do have a value which I would share with you depending on what it is that you wanted to do. But yeah, so blessings to each one of you. Thanks for joining me. We are so in this together, and I hope that your gratitude is expanding. I hope that you are enjoying some of this pause and reset time, that you're really going within and finding some of the depth within yourself to seek out the answers that you're needing, things that are coming up, and that you've spent some time in nature. I've spent a lot of time in nature, so much so that I knew I had beaver out on the bog. I was able to see the beaver. I go out every day and meet snake. Yeah, we've started a community garden. It's a lot of beauty that I have been able to experience with nature, with earth, air, water, and fire. So take care, everyone. Blessings to you.